dear counselors. Today we're going to talk about some sample questions for your interview. School counselors, in this time of the year, some of you want to move, some of you want to find a different job, and maybe you're wondering what are the possible questions that I can have. So if you click the link down below, you're going to find a template where you can fill out some responses and take notes of all these videos. This is a complete list. So part 1 is the role of the school counselor. Part 2 is what things you can bring to your school counselor interview. Part 3, we narrow down more questions. Part 4, we're going to talk about the different parts of your plan, like how to assess, leadership, advocacy, collaboration, and so much more. The next video is going to be with scenarios. We're going to talk about the possible questions and possible responses. Does that mean that you have to do or respond the same way that I've done before in the past? No. You can adapt all of this to your campus needs, to your personality, and your style, or the techniques that you want to use or implement. All the programs that you know that probably are different from Houston, Texas. My name is Crystal Santiago, and I'm a school counselor in Houston, Texas. For those of you who don't know me, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, share, and comment. Leave me all the questions you may have if you want me to create other different types of videos. If you're looking for a job right now, also you can let us know right now in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so let's dive in. Some of the questions that we're going to talk about today are, in this part, how will you assess the school counseling program? What type of data would you demonstrate an effective school counseling program? How do you use data to reflect on the school counseling program and goals? How do you use data to inform the counseling program growth? How will you convey this impact stakeholders? The other one in advocacy could be, how does a school counseling program support the school counselor advocacy? That's going to be the advocacy components, or have you advocated for students? That could be another one. How would you address and irrate parent or passive or uninvolved parent? Those are two separate questions, but I'm combining them. Describe past interactions with parents and home visits. Those are the questions that we're going to talk about today. So let's dive in. In the first question, how will you assess the school counseling program? Every school counseling program must start with a needs assessment. Wherever you go, you need to know what are the needs of your campus and what the teachers need from you, what the parents need from you, and what the administration feels like they need from you. That will guide your whole school counseling program for the rest of the year. Does that mean that we can adapt and change? Of course we can. We can adapt and change based on the needs of our campus. Another question that I forgot to mention in this one, what type of data? The next question is, what type of data would you demonstrate an effective school counseling program? At the beginning of the year, you're going to set up all your forms and all the systems, how you're going to collect the data from your small groups, from your guidance lessons, from your responsive services and system support, from all the events that you're doing, if you're giving free food for the students every week. All those little things. How do you track the phone calls? How your referrals? How do you track your individual counseling, your small group counseling sessions? Amount of students, how many do you have, grade levels? You need to narrow down, and we talk over and over and over about this, about how important is the Google form, which it will automatically collect all this information for you. In other videos, we explain a little bit more, and even I provided an example that I have in the TPT Store, Counseling Solutions by Chris, that you can purchase if you want. If you don't want to, you don't have to, and you maybe have your own. So create your own and adapt it too. Okay, so how do you reflect on your data? Depending on the data that you're receiving from everyone in your campus, you need to decide what is the direction. Remember, small changes can change the outcome, can change the direction, and can change the results. So what do you want to achieve? What are the goals that you have in mind? What are the goals that you have in mind and taking care of? By the end of the school year, you will also use that data to see how many referrals did you have? It was a specific grade level. Did you notice that the behavioral problems were increasing at a specific grade level? What things you can plan ahead? What things you can coordinate to motivate them or prevent for those negative behaviors? And so much more. You can use data for everything you need, even to prove maybe that you need a second or third counselor in your building. So use it wisely. It's very important that you share that data with your administrators and you let them know what you are doing, so they will comprehend and they will have an overview of your program, what are the campus needs, and how you are shifting or helping your population and your school. It was how you advocate for students. Don't forget that you are always advocating, right there, if it's a Part of 504, if it's for accommodations, if it is to change the schedule or maybe move the student to a different classroom. You can advocate for diversity, for classes, electives, for situations with parents, contacting the CPS if needed. By the way, going back to CPS, in the previous question we were talking about data. Also monitor how many CPS cases do you have, and also how many crises. Recently we saw an increase in our crisis every day, so it's very important also that you keep track of those numbers, okay? Don't forget. In the next question, they were also asking a little bit about the attendance. How can you help your school related to attendance? You can coordinate with the registrar and your principal to run some reports for you. They will help you. They will give you the numbers and you can start making phone calls. We can start creating different incentives for the school, different parties. Divide your school in packs, in groups, in teams. You can start the PBIS store and different types of incentives to keep the school climate engage and have a positive school climate. How would you address an irate parent or the opposite, uninvolved parent? Both cases are very different. With the irate parent, it's very important that you stay calm, peaceful. Watch your tone, watch your gestures, watch your facial expression, and stay calm at all times. When the parent is claiming something, listen what they need to say. Even though you didn't do anything, I suggest that you apologize for the inconvenience and you let the parent know that you will investigate or that you will talk to the teacher next day or the administrator, depending on what time of the day that you received the complaint. If you received the complaint earlier in the morning, I highly suggest that you call that parent same day, you investigate the situation same day, and maybe you have to push back a couple of meetings or appointments that you may have. If the parent is really upset about what happened and you have no idea of what happened, I highly suggest that you let them know, hey, due to the time, tomorrow I will be investigating the situation. I will notify the administrators about this. Let me gather a little bit more information of what happened. Let me see what are going to be the action steps, and I will get back to you. I am so sorry that you went through that situation with your child, but we will take care. If it's a bullying situation, because we don't know if it was bullying or if it wasn't, that's why I was like with the hands like this. I was like, I will check and I will report, I will investigate. We have a zero tolerance with bullying. That's not what we preach in this campus. And try to calm the parent down. At the same time, you're providing responses by telling them, hey, tomorrow I will give you a call, today in the afternoon, and we can start from that point. By the time that you call the parent already should be de-escalated, more calm. Maybe he or she will not be satisfied with what you said after, the results. But the most important part, you stay calm, stay peaceful, and explain to the parent, we are on the same team and we're in your child's team. Don't get me wrong, we will take care of him or her as best as we can. So don't worry, we're on the same team. Let's investigate this and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Make sure, don't wait 1 week or 3 weeks or 3 days, because then the parent is going to have a different attitude. Even with that, that they contact the district or they may contact people about you. That may happen too, okay? So be mindful of that. In case that is an uninvolved parent, it's very important that you try to build, like we do, build relationships with them, try to connect with them, try to bring them into the school, go and do home visits. That's going to be another questions later on. Try to connect with them, get their cell phone number, tell them, I'm not going to bother that much, I know that you work, or maybe I know that you are upset every time we call. Acknowledge their feelings, and at the same time find a way to connect with them. If the family is in a specific need, try to take care of the basic needs like providing food, or maybe it's clothing, maybe they're having any type of rent issues. Try your best to connect with them, okay? The next is describe past interactions with parents and home visits. I know that some counselors do not feel very comfortable with the home visits. Well, let me take that back. I know that some counselors, sometimes you can't find the time to go and do the home visits, or maybe you go to your home visits and you don't find the parent, or maybe if it's in an area, a neighborhood, a complex apartment where you don't feel safe, maybe you can't find anyone to go. My suggestion for you, home visits are very powerful, are necessary, and it's part of our job. Obviously, don't go by yourself, go with someone else. Try to make it short and coordinate. Put it in your calendar, talk to someone else, the person who will be assigned, and get together in a specific time where it's good for both of you. Set up the time in your calendar, set up an hour just in case it is far, if the conversation lasts more than expected. And if you have more than one student to visit, plan ahead. You need to get Google Maps and see which one is the closest one, which one is the farthest one. So go to the one that is far away first, and then keep coming back. Make like your own GPS and your route. Remember, in directions, I think it's in Google Maps, you can make stops. So make sure that you add those stops in your Google Maps so you can find the shortest route, so you can accomplish all your home visits, and then you can come back to your campus. Try to do not go by yourself, go with someone else, okay? How do you manage conflict and create solutions with stakeholders? Well, that goes back to taking care of the needs. Find what they need. Contact the right agencies. Contact your district. Contact the homeless department. Contact the school. Contact all the people that you need to contact in order to serve the needs of your campus. This one is very important. How would you divide your time between meeting the immediate needs of the students and keeping up the paperwork? How is your use of time spent to address the needs of all students? How will you effectively plan and manage your time as a school counselor? I think in the previous video we touched bases a little bit. As you can see, some of these questions intertwine with one another. All of them are combined. So depending of the interview depending of your panel are the questions that they're going to ask, or they may ask, okay? So keep it in mind. The students, you can never take it to your home, right? So basically you need to take care of the things that you can take care in the building. For those of you who are new to this profession, you should know that most of the time you have to take your paperwork home. If you don't want to do that, you need to find the balance, right? Immediate needs, papers, students. So plan. That's the only thing I can tell you. Plan your week, plan your month, plan your guidance lessons, plan quarterly. So every quarter you're gonna plan ahead to avoid, even though we all know all those students get to your door, teachers, different type of situations going around, or if it's a fight, a crisis, a problem, someone needs to vent. All of that will throw out of the window your agenda, and it happens to all of us. All of us. I want to know, leave me in the comments below, how many times in a week you have to change your agenda. And you can give me as many details as you want, or as little as you want, or you can put me 5 out of 5 days in a week, with 7, but we're not there Saturday and Sunday, right? How many days do you need to change your agenda? Let me know, I'm curious about. So all of us need to change our agenda, but you need to be mindful. And sometimes what I've done in the past, and I do it, if there's something that I need to turn in immediately, and maybe something happened and it was a couple of interruptions in my office that I couldn't accomplish something that I have to do, sometimes, and that's very common, Rather, if you wanted your own, sometimes you have to reschedule with your students, right? So what do we do in those cases? You reschedule with the students, but make sure that you notify the student that you're not going to be able to pick him or her up. You can walk by the classroom and let the teacher know, or let the student know, or you can call a teacher and you can tell the teacher, hey, I'm supposed to have an appointment with so-and-so, but this came up, and tell him that I'm not going to be able to pick him up. It is very important that whenever the student comes back, they usually are like, why you didn't pick me up, or what happened? And it's like, baby, you know that I cannot give you details, but something came up and they needed my help, and I was taking care, like the same way that I take care of you. When you're having a good or a bad day, I have to take care of anyone else that maybe it's in need, and maybe sometimes there are situations outside of my control that I need to move stuff around, and just let them know. Keep the communication open. Regarding that part, plan, and plan. Okay, in our next video, we're going to talk about different scenarios, so stay tuned. Let me know your questions, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, and bye. Thank you so much for your time. See you next time. Bye.